Hey guys, so I'm going to walk you guys through on how to do a Romanian deadlift. So first, you're going to place yourself underneath the bar with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You want your toes to be pointing slightly outwards, and you want the balls of your feet to be directly underneath the bar. Then when it comes to your hand placement, your hands you'll be using a wider grip, about slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and it'll be a closed pronated grip. You want to make sure all throughout the motion that your grip is closed and that you're not opening it and having it hang on your fingers. From there, that will basically be your hand and feet placement. From there, a couple tips on getting the weight up and the form of it. So you want to make sure that you have a neutral spine. You want to keep your chest pointing upwards, and you want to pull your shoulder blades back. You really want to watch your head. You don't want to be looking up. You don't want to be looking down. You want to just look straight ahead so you can maintain that neutral spine. From there, the biggest cue is going to be that you want to make sure that your hips are lower than your shoulders. I'll demonstrate what that will look like once I get into the visual demonstration. But from there, you're going to bring the weight up in order to get into the starting position. So to bring the weight up, you're going to make sure that your shoulders rise before your hips. That's the biggest cue I like to give, is that you want to make sure that the shoulders come up before the hips. And the first half of the movement, I like to think of it as a leg press. So you're really pushing through, especially with your quads, to get that weight up. Once it's at the knee level, that is when you really start to get more motion at the hips. So once it crosses that knee or is at that knee level, you want to start to hinge at the hips and then squeeze your glutes. And then, biggest tip, all throughout the motion, you have to make sure that you're maintaining that neutral spine, your chest is up, and then your shoulder blades are pulled back, all throughout the motion. From there, that will be your starting position for the Romanian deadlifts. From there, basically, you will flex at the hip, pulling your hips back, maintaining slightly flexed knees. So you always want to have a slight bend at the knees. You never want to lock out. To get back to what's happening at the hips, though, you're going to slightly flex at the hips, pulling the hips back, maintaining that upright torso, maintaining straight arms. They have to be extended all throughout. And you're going to bring the weight down to right about knee level, slightly lower than the knees. And then you will extend at the hips and really squeezing the glutes once again. That will basically be one repetition of the Romanian deadlift. It'll make more sense once I show you guys what it will look like. But yeah, let's get right into that. I'm going to adjust my camera position so you can get a better view from the side. Okay, so I'm going to align myself in a similar way as I mentioned earlier. Feet about shoulder width apart, right in the middle of the bar, slightly pointing outwards. A wide hand grip placement, closed pronated. Then I'm going to get my hips lower than my shoulder. I'm going to get my chest up, and I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back, and I'm going to have my neutral spine. Another thing I did forget to mention is ultimately the bar will be about 1 inch in front of the shins. So you want to make sure that the bar is not too far ahead or too close to the shins, that it'll rub all throughout the motion. So it's just about 1 inch from it. Position, and then I'm gonna push up and then extend at the hips. From here, I'm going to flex, bringing my glutes back, and then extending, squeezing my glutes. So flex at the hips, and then extend. Show you guys a couple more reps. see how the bar is just crossing my knees, just slightly. And we'll put the weight back down. So, as you can see all throughout my motion, all throughout the range of motion, I kept my core tight, kept my chest up, I squeezed my glutes at every rep, and the motion was slow and controlled. So those are just some key tips that you guys want to use when you're doing your Romanian deadlifts. But other than that, I think that's all I have for you guys. So, thank you.